time for our main event tonight here on Gotham Ringside Boxing. David Tua, a former world title challenger, trying to get back in contention. The challenge tonight, the last second replacement, Maurice Wheeler. David Tua, 39 knockouts. Powerful, powerful heavyweight who took a 2-year hiatus just a couple of years ago after a draw with Hasim Rahman. And he's looking to get back into title contention. And as we talked about in the open, Randy, the path for David Tua seems pretty clear. In the heavyweight division nowadays, if you can put together a good string of victories, you got a shot at going after a championship, especially when you have name recognition like David Tua has.
When you have name recognition and when you have punching power like he does. But you just can't sit on the sidelines. I mean, there were some managerial problems, contractual problems. That's why he took off much of that 2 years right after the draw against Hasim Rahman. But now is the time. He's 33 years old, and he's got to get in the ring, and he's got to stay in the ring. He can't sit around for 8, 9, 10, 11 months and do nothing. He's got to come right back if he wins here tonight.
There is David Tua making his way into the ring. And, you know, we talked to him earlier tonight, and he told us about his game plan against the last-minute opponent, Maurice Wheeler.
The only thing that I can do is to go out there and do the best I can, given whatever approach that the opponent brings to the table.
Great. Do you know anything about Wheeler?
I know he's a southpaw, so you know, I'm looking forward to adjusting to that and do the best I can with it.
Okay, and last question. I mean, you are so right.
So David Tua, a lot of pressure. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Roger Bloodworth back in the corner of David Tua. 250-pounder, and Wheeler the last second replacement, 36 years old, out of Philadelphia. And we are set for boxing. David Tua, a man who has been in the spotlight before. Ironically enough, only one world title challenge for Tua. That came years ago against Lennox Lewis. And he thinks he can get back into contention. So we are set for action. Let's get the introductions from Sandy Reddick.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cedric Kushner's Gotham Boxing, in association with DRL Promotions and Everlast Nutrition, takes great pleasure in presenting the main event of the evening. This bout is sanctioned and approved by the New York State Athletic Commission, whose chairman is with us this evening, Ron Scott Stevens. The judges are Robin Taylor, George DeGabriel, and George Smith. Our matchmaker is Jim Borzel. Our timekeeper, Kathy Paolillo. We have 4 ring physicians with us this evening, and they are Dr. Linda Dahl, Dr. Joseph Herrera, Dr. John Butcher, and Dr. Osric King. Our referee for the main event, Randy Newman. Counting for the knockdowns, Gary Rosario. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us meet the principal. In the blue corner, this young man is wearing black and gray trunks. He weighed in 245 pounds. His ring record, 10-8-1 with 1 KO. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, let's welcome Maurice Wheeler. And his opponent in the red corner. This gentleman is wearing black and white trunks. He weighed in at an even 250 pounds. His ring record is outstanding. 44 victories, only 3 defeats, 1 draw, 39 wins coming by KO, all the way from South Auckland, New Zealand. He's known the world over as the Tua Man, David Tua.
David Tua, just a little block of granite.
Now referee Randy Newman will give final instructions.
He is tall,
Yes,
Mr. Gord.
Reminds me a lot of Mike Tyson, actually, in in build, I mean, Tyson was really cut like black granite, if you will. But they're about the same size. Tua's a little bit shorter, but probably just as wide.
The rules of the state and thoroughly gone over. I want you to remember two things. I want you to obey my commands, but number one, defend yourselves at all times. Shake hands and come out of the bell.
Tua is obviously a lot shorter than Wheeler, but Wheeler's heart is probably pumping pretty strongly right now.
Absolutely. You know, the toughest man in the ring might not be the two fighters. It could be the referee, Randy Newman, who in his boxing days fought the likes of Dwayne Bobbitt and Jerry Quarry and on and on and on.
And we are set for this one. It's scheduled for 10 rounds. Few think it will go that far. David Tua, his second fight of 2006, took 2 years off after that draw to Hasim Rahman in 03. 33 years old, looking to fight his way back into title contenders. Tua obviously has the power to take anybody out, but if you're Wheeler, do you just try to make Tua work to it? Not in the perfect shape yet. He still has some weight to go.
Well, you're not going to see him really lose anyway. He's got 250 pounds. He may get down to 245, something like that. But what he needs, he's got ring rust on him. He needs rounds. He needs fights. And already, Wheeler has lasted longer than John Maurice, longer than Michael Moore.
Wheeler's just going to stay away. Tua is looking to kind of stalk him. Get in a position where he can throw a power shot. Just shocking, Randy, that Tua has only fought for the title one time. He's been at the top of the game for as long as you can remember.
Yeah. I mean, he has really been up there. He won his first, I believe it was 27 fights in a row before he lost an incredible shootout to Ike, the president, Ibiabuchi. It was a fight where there was something like over 2,000 punches thrown in a 10-round fight. These guys never let up on each other.
Tua has not even gotten close to Wheeler yet here in round one.
And it was right before the Ibiabuchi fight, about 2 months before that, that Tua knocked out Oleg Moscano in the 11th round. The same Oleg Moscano knocked out Hasim Rahman for the title.
Heavier than he was in his last fight. His weight over the last 3 or 4 years has been in the upper 240s, 250 after winning yesterday. And at this pace, Tua won't be tired. He's done very well here on the field. Try to walk the way down.
With him. Medal in Barcelona. He turned professional with a first-round knockout in Virginia Beach, and for that fight, he weighed 195 pounds.
He's put a few on over the last 14 years, as I have as well. After seeing those pictures that you took in Barcelona 14 years ago.
You look at those beach pictures in Catalonia.
Not too shabby. Round one comes to a close, uneventful. Not a lot of offense from David Tua in round one. Checking the corner of Wheeler, who I would have to think that's kind of a moral victory, don't you think?
Well, let's see what happens to in round number 2. In his career, David Tua has knocked out 15 guys in the first round and 8 more in the second. That's 23 knockouts out of his 39 in the first 2 rounds.
And Tua didn't really force the issue at all in round one. He was just very content to just walk Wheeler down. Didn't throw a lot of punches in round one.
I don't think he really threw anything with bad intentions on.
Talked to David the other day. He talked of reuniting with Roger Bloodworth, his longtime trainer. Tua, as you mentioned earlier on the broadcast, Randy, has gone through some managerial situations over the last few years. And now he seems to have the right team behind him. Try to move up the ladder.
He didn't have the right team behind him because he had one of the greatest managers of all time in his corner. Always behind him, Shelley Finkel. And I'm not sure exactly what happened with that.
It was Roger Bloodworth, and David told me back in the old main events days, he ended up leaving main events, and Roger was with main events. Tua had some managerial problems with his management over in New Zealand and Australia.
Roger Bloodworth, one of the real outstanding boxing people, and certainly I think the marriage between Bloodworth and Tua is a real fine one.
It's going back to his roots. In a lot of ways, you go back to that Virginia Beach opener, and that goes back to the Lou Duva, Roger Bloodworth days, when Virginia Beach was one of their training hubs and Sweet Pea Whitaker was one of their lead horses. And Maurice Wheeler doing a great job just staying away from the power of Tua. Who did you give round one to?
I gave it to Wheeler. Because I just can't give it around to a guy who doesn't throw punches. And in round one, he doesn't throw punches.
Wheeler, you could do this for the whole fight. Maybe you have a shot at pulling off a huge upset. Now, you don't want to slow down now because one punch from Tua could end your night. Tua might just be trying to get some work in here.
Absolutely. When you've been off as long as he's been off, you really need rounds. I mean, in his last fight, he fought a very tough Eddie Gutierrez. And he worked for a couple of rounds. Just Gutierrez was throwing some shots at him. And Tua was playing defense. And then he finally started opening up in round number 3 and got rid of him in round number 4.
You mentioned his war with Ike Abiabuchi, his first loss as a professional. Coming off of that loss, he won 10 in a row, all by knockout. And then he lost his major title fight to Lennox Lewis in the year 2000, a unanimous decision to Lennox. And he has won 8 straight since his last loss to Chris Berg. Actually, since the draw with Rockmont. Good body shot by Tua. And his first punch of the fight. He's beginning to get a little closer to him. Slows that distance. Round 2, another round of survival for Wheeler, who's growing in confidence. Round 3 coming up.
David Tua in that shot, to me, reminded me a lot of George Foreman. The bald head,
right.
The stoic kind of look.
Tua closed the gap a little bit in round 2, got a little closer to Wheeler, who has really done a good job of staying away from the power of David Tua. Now, David Tua hasn't forced it so far. Let's see when he decides to.
He started to let a right hand go a few moments ago, but it fell short. And at this point, Tua actually looks sloppy as he gets on the inside. And what's going to happen if he looks sloppy like this for another round or 2, I really think Wheeler is going to grow in confidence. And maybe the Wizard of Oz does exist.
Nice left hand there by Wheeler as Tua gives him a smirk. All right, Randy, we've heard the term ring rust so many times. Does it apply to all sports? If you lay off, is it just rust from a layoff?
Yes. I mean, I think it applies to baseball players, especially pitchers who haven't pitched in a while. They can't get the rotation, breaking ball, and everything else.
Two of that time. Spinning him around and hitting with some baby jabs to the face. And it's going to upset the two of them.
You know, you can't land.
Wheeler's doing a good job so far in this fight. And with the Tua just starting slow, and some of the material that we read coming into the fight referred to Wheeler as a wily veteran who could extend to a little bit, and that was accurate.
What he's doing here is that right jab, then he snapped it out a little bit. Paul, and snap. Then he takes a snap, there's a paw. Now he takes a little walk. Another paw. Just it's a defensive jab. Keep away, keep away. Like that. Keep away from him. Comes up with a little shot like that. But there's a scoring shot. Tua is doing nothing.
Against an opponent like this is it's an indication that he's got a lot of work to do.
Right. I mean, all of a sudden, we're early in the fight. I can definitely see if we're also round 6, round 7, round 8. And the career of David Tua could be slipping away.
Wheeler can keep it up. Good overhand left by Wheeler. Tua has really not forced the action, but because of Windrock, it's been a long time. Tua might see openings that he can't put the trigger on. Another good round for Maurice Wheeler here. Tua's been around a long time. He can go the distance. And round 4 is underway. Tua coming out with a little bit more fire here in round 4. But then you have to wonder about Tua's conditioning, Randy. And right now, he doesn't look like he's in the best shape of his career.
No, it's obvious that this guy does not spend the day doing 5,000 sit-ups. I mean, but Tua has always looked like that. Well, aside from being back in Barcelona where he is a stocky guy. He just doesn't have one of those beach bodies that we saw in Barcelona.
Now Wheeler eats a body shot from Tua.
And he's play acting a little bit. Wheeler got hit with a body shot and then shook his head, said no. And whenever he play acts, his corner starts screaming at him, don't do that.
Another nice body shot by David Tua.
They may not look like anything, but those body shots stay with you like bad meals.
Nice right hand that time by Tua.
That was the first time this fight that Tua has really opened it up.
He's beginning to force the issue a little bit more here now in round 4.
He's got to turn it up if he wants to win this fight.
And Wheeler is slowing down.
Wheeler doing what a lot of quarterbacks are doing, trying to fall on the football and just run the clock out.
And don't work in boxing. He's got a long way to go. He's still in the first quarter. Actually, he's in the second quarter right now, I should say.
A lot of energy being expended in there. When those two guys, when those two behemoths get together, a lot of energy. So you wonder who's going to run out of gas first doing that.
Well, again, a little quick shot by Wheeler and a hold. This has been his method. He's putting his glove right in the face of Tua, trying to bother Tua. There might be a cut on the left eye of David Tua. Not sure from this vantage point. Tua looks a little more intense here in this round. Yes, there is a little bit of blood. A little bit of blood above the left eye of David Tua, right on the eyebrow.
Yeah, I did see that too, but I'm wondering, was that from somewhere else that just wound up on the eye, or is the eye cut? And if it is cut, from what?
Well, we're going to check him in the corner at the end of this round. And there's a little bit of a cut right on his eyebrow. Not much of a cut, but enough to draw some blood. This one tighter than expected. Maurice Wheeler done a good job managing the tempo of the fight and keeping David Tua off balance. A close fight, much closer than expected. And David Tua now bleeding from above his left eye. Checking the corner of David Tua. They're not doing any work on the cut. Well, now they are. Just a very, very small cut right on the eyebrow. Corner is not concerned. In fact, they're not doing much work on it. But Randy, I'd love to know your scorecard through 4 rounds.
I got it by 1 point for Mr. Wheeler.
Wow.
I gave that last round to David Tua on the strength of some very hard body punching, and Wheeler just didn't throw enough.
Round 5 underway. Fight is scheduled for 10 rounds.
But I got to tell you something. If this fight continues the way it is, Mr. Wheeler is not just going to be some statistic for the left side of David Tua's record. It could be for the right side.
Wheeler very slick. That's the one thing about him. He's not given Tua a very good target all night so far. Tua can do something about that. He needs to put more than a couple punches together. And again, Wheeler throws a couple shots and ties them up.
You know, if you think back to the night that David Tua fought Lennox Lewis for the heavyweight championship of the world back in November 11th in the year 2000, he lost virtually every round in that fight and fought at this kind of pace.
Yep.
And I kept saying to myself, you know, it's round 6, it's round 7, it's round 8. He's going to open up. And he never did against Lennox Lewis. And so far against this opponent who everybody thought he should just steamroll, he hasn't put it into overdrive.
Randy, I remember that fight. I was there during the fight. And in fact, you are correct. It was a methodical approach by David Tua. Not inspiring. And it's the same type of approach we're seeing tonight, where the opponent is nowhere near the class of the former world heavyweight champion.
In fact, the scoring in that fight had been 117-111, 119-109, and 118-110. It was all Lennox Lewis. A little shot to the back by David Tua.
Tua, though, you can see that the rust is there. He's got an opponent in front of him who is there to be hit, and Tua just is not taking advantage.
You know, sometimes in boxing, what is lost forever and cannot be gotten back. And I don't know if what we're seeing right now is maybe the best that David Tua can give. I would think that it's rust, and if he stays in the ring, he'll do a lot better. But right now, he certainly does not look like a world-class contender.
No, he sure doesn't. There's a body shot by Tua.
That was
Another body shot.
2 of his best punches so far.
And again, the crafty Wheeler staying away from the power shots. Well, we're approaching the midway point in this fight, and it's much more competitive than we had anticipated. Maurice Wheeler and David Tua just about even midway through this one in New York City. There is Maurice Wheeler. He's done a great job on short notice against David Tua tonight.
There's a crunching left hook to the side. And then David Tua tried it again, and he's very smartly tied up by Wheeler.
And Wheeler has the presence to wink at someone at ringside. His eye on David Tua.
He really should.
Round 6 underway. And Randy, your scorecard midway through.
I gave that last round, round number 5, to David Tua. I've got it even at 48. I've got Tua coming on, but only because I've got Wheeler fading a little bit.
Tell you what, Wheeler's got Tua up against the ropes right now, and he's tagging him. Blood from the nose of David Tua now.
Keep in mind that Maurice Wheeler has 1 knockout to his credit. That was back in 2002 in Philadelphia. He stopped Jose Mena in round number 4. He jabs, he jabs. Nothing really on those jabs, but they are scoring jabs. And as long as David Tua doesn't throw anything, the judges can't help but perhaps give the rounds to Wheeler. and then he moves away. And whenever...
Do you sense Tua getting frustrated at all here, Randy, because of the level of the opposition and his own ineffectiveness?
Not yet, but I think within a round or so, you're going to start seeing some frustration on the part of Tua.
The best win on the record of Wheeler was a victory over David Bostis. Again, Bostis, a known journeyman, but not the caliber of a David Tua at Tua's heyday.
Like 31-7, and he lost to Wheeler. Wheeler certainly has the capability of beating him.
Wheeler just out-quickened Tua with that jab. And again, he gets off first and ties up Tua. That's a winning formula for Wheeler.
1-2, grab him and move. Jab and grab.
Wheeler making faces to the crowd, and he is mugging to the audience here at the Roseland Ballroom. And he is feeling supremely confident right now, and it's a bit of a shock to me, Randy. It's a bit of a shock because David Tua was a guy who felt that he could get back to heavyweight contention, but not at this rate.
I really thought he could. And in coming into this fight, I thought a lot about that Lennox Lewis fight and that incredibly lazy performance by Tua. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing it again, and I really have to ask myself, how much does this man really want to win? I mean, there's no question he can punch.
Well, Wheeler has done a good job covering up and defending. And blood coming from the nose of David Tua. Tougher night than expected for the Tua man, that's for sure. Tua's game plan offensively. The unorthodox style of Wheeler has given him some problems, but Tua really has not been as aggressive as we expected.
Nowhere near as aggressive. I really thought he was going to be, you know, I didn't expect the weight to be 220 pounds.
Right.
But I really thought he was going to throw a lot more punches. We have 4 rounds to go. And let me tell you something. If Wheeler wins one more round, I think on my scorecard, it's going to force David Tua to either sweep 3 of the rounds or to knock his man out. And I just don't know if he's got the fire in him tonight.
Well, no frustration on the face of David Tua. And we wondered if Maurice Wheeler would still be here come the 6th, 7th, or 8th round. And right now, he looks to be in pretty good shape.
Wheeler's got those hands down. They are dangerously low. Speaking of low, he's claiming a low shot. Randy Newman just told him, come on, get back in there.
Wheeler has the emotional edge right now. He seems to be fighting with a lot more confidence than David Tua. But again, you know, David Tua has tremendous punching power, 39 knockouts out of 45 victories. Right now, he just isn't cutting off the ring. He's not setting himself up for the power shots.
And Wheeler doing the right thing. He does that jab and grab.
It's ugly, but it's effective so far for him.
You know what?
Did the judges score that?
I think so. When I play golf, I have a shot called the Ubu. Ugly but useful.
Okay.
It bounces along the ground and it rolls for maybe 150 yards.
You play cart path golf.
Yes, I use the foot wedge also. And Wheeler is fighting this ugly kind of fight, but it's effective.
Tua hasn't made him pay. I mean, Wheeler's been there a lot of times, and whether it's ring rust or just a tentative plan for Tua right now, he's just not as aggressive, not getting the punishment that we expect from David Tua.
Wheeler's giving this round away. It's a round he can win. And he's standing there taking body shots and mugging at you and me.
Tua continues to bleed from the nose. Tua really has not unleashed that left hook yet to the head. We haven't even seen it in this fight. There's a nice body shot. And of course, you know, you got to question question the conditioning of both men to go the full 10-round distance.
Well, I'm sure that's in both of their minds. Nice inside work.
A body shot, and down goes Wheeler.
That was a nice left uppercut. The best shot Tua has thrown tonight.
And Wheeler is not getting up. That's going to be it. David Tua is going to be victorious. And what is it being called a low blow? What's going on here? Randy Newman is not counting. And is the fight over?
What is going on?
What is the call? What's the call here? Is it a knockout victory? It must be. David Tua victorious here with a body shot. As Wheeler does not get up. But when he got up, Randy, he was laughing and hugging Tua.
I thought that maybe it was going to be called a low shot, which obviously it wasn't. It looked to me to be a very powerful left uppercut to the pit of the stomach.
Yep, liver shot, and Tua, just like that, turns out the lights.
I got to tell you, I'm very disappointed in Wheeler because this was a fight he was winning. This was a fight he could win. He got hit with that shot, and I just didn't think he made any kind of effort to get up. You know, the body shots will take the wind right out of you, and sometimes your legs go, and you can't get up. But then to get up with that kind of attitude, I'm very disappointed in him. He could have pulled off a major upset here tonight.
Let's see if we can catch the shot. Yes, right in there on the liver, right in tight. And Wheeler wasn't getting up. And the referee waved it off right away.
Watch again. Steps in with the jab. He comes in. See if this is it. Yeah, that was a left uppercut that came right in there, caught him in the pit of the stomach.
Yep.
Nothing foul about that at all. It was a real nice shot.
And afterwards, they hug each other and show a lot of mutual respect. So one ends in a hurry. David Tua victorious.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bout was stopped. 2:48 of the 7th round. The winner by a KO is David Tua.
So David Tua victorious by way of knockout. My partner Randy Gordon has made his way into the ring, and David Tua needed a win, and he got it. And even though he had a little bit of a scare for Maurice Wheeler tonight, no doubt about that. Another look at the knockout with the body shot. That tight left hand right on the button to the liver of Wheeler, and that was all she wrote. So we're going to hear from David Tua. How satisfied was he with his performance tonight? That's a question I'm sure Randy will ask him, because Tua went longer than expected here in New York City tonight. And Maurice Wheeler, what can you say about him? Gets the call at the last minute, and he takes David Tua deep into the fight. Tua needed the work. I think he'll relate that to Randy. But Tua victorious nonetheless, despite the tough time. You know, Wheeler did a good job of clutching and grabbing and just causing Tua problems. And in the end, it was a body shot that spelled the end of Maurice Wheeler.
David.
Randy has made his way into the ring, and we're going to hear from the Tua man momentarily. All right, Randy standing by. Take it away, Randy Gordon.
Okay, I'm standing with David Tua. David, you got in that left uppercut there, but up until that moment, this is a very close fight.
It was a good fight. I knew that coming into the later rounds. I knew I had him, but you know, this is what I pretty much expected. I mean, you know, it was frustrating because at first we trained for one particular opponent, but then it changed. You know, it changed up on us. So we did the best we could. So yeah.
You're 33 years old. This is the 4th fight after a 2-year layoff. Are you feeling that you have to get back in the ring quite often now?
Well, this is where it's at. It's been frustrating, but obviously that's the most important thing right now for me is to get the ring rust out of the way and get the momentum going forward. I need to be busy. I need to be busier.
Roger, what would you like to see him do? What would you like to see him do?
Well, he's got to fight more often. He's got to fight regular to get his time. I mean, it was pretty hard to prepare for this guy because we didn't know who he was till the last day. And the guy had some skills. He didn't want to get knocked out, so he stayed away. So he did fine as far as this fight was going. When he told him to close it, he closed it. But he's got to fight regular.
Were you ever thinking that if you didn't catch him with that shot and you went to the scorecards, there could be some trouble?
Well, for me, like I said, I did the best I could to adjust to his style, given the last minute that we had to do it with. But, I knew I had him going into the later rounds.
I'd like to get Cedric Kushner in here. Cedric, are you going to try to get him in the ring now and just keep him in the ring and march him right back to a title?
There's no doubt about that. The activity is very important. The more activity, the better for Dave, the better he'll perform. Tonight was good that he went 6 rounds. Wasn't bad at all. Maybe we can slip one more fight in before the end of the year, and then next year start looking around seriously for a title opportunity.
David?
Yeah.
What kind of timetable would you put yourself on?
Well, if I had it my way, respectfully, I'll fight every month. I'll fight every month. And that's the only way to get this rustiness out of the way. I mean, I can't fight like, every other 3-4 months. I got to fight every month.
Did you feel that ring rust tonight?
Oh, definitely. Like I said, it was frustrating because at first it was a right-hander shoulder guy. Then the second fight, was a total opponent. So we had to readjust to that. And then the last minute, the guy's a southpaw. So what can you do? So for us, a win tonight looked good the next.
A win is a win. I guess that's how they look at it. And this is fight number 4 in the comeback for David the Tua-Man Tua, who wins his 46th fight and continues that march and that dream up to the heavyweight championship of the world. Let's go back to our own heavyweight champion, Larry Michael.
Thank you, Randy. Very well done. You got the whole story covered in the ring as David Tua victorious with a body shot knockout of Maurice Wheeler here in New York City. More coming up. Gotham Ringside Boxing. Don't go away. All right, welcome back to the Roseland Ballroom here in New York City. Larry Michael with Randy Gordon. We just saw a great boxing show tonight. The main event, David Tua. It took him some time, and in listening to your interview with him, Randy, sounds like he's confident that he's on the right track despite what might seem to have been a bad night tonight.
Well, it didn't just seem like a bad night. It was a bad night. But he wound up winning, and a win is a win. But as he said to me, and I think he was very honest when he said this, I asked him, what is your timetable? And he said, I'd fight every month if I could.
Right.
And I really believe that because he knows that he cannot get in that ring with that kind of ring rust that we saw tonight.
Now, he wants to fight every month, but sooner or later he's going to have to go against competition that he will not be able to slide through like Wheeler tonight.
Well, it's not realistic to tell us he's going to fight every month because certainly, he might fight again in a month and maybe again after that. But then it's going to be a few months and he will have to step up at one time and fight a contender. He's going to have to get in a lot better shape if he wants to fight one of the big guys.
And real quick, Joe Green, a star of the future, 13th win tonight, and this kid looks like a superstar in the making.
I'm really impressed with him, and he's only 20 years old. We tend to rush a guy. I especially like to see a guy, fight for the championship. He's 20 years old. Let him have another 15, 20 fights or so. By that time, he's going to know every single style. He will be unbeatable.
Good getting back ringside with you, my friend.
Great seeing you, Larry.
All right, the commish Randy Gordon, I'm Larry Michael. We appreciate you watching so much, folks. Gotham Ringside Boxing tonight from the Roseland Ballroom in New York City. It's been a great night, and we'll catch you again next time.